That's normally Missy's job then. Hey ho, I'm Rachel from Miss Daisy Sewing, and today we're going to talk about cosplay. Specifically, my nephew in cosplay. So he's just about to go 16, and for quite a while now has been interested in cosplay. Last year we decided for his birthday to make him an a la carte costume, and he helped with like the coat and with the hat and things. So it was a joint project, and we did a sort of Helsing trio for a cosplay convention, and it went down a storm. He had a wonderful time, and it's absolutely ignited interest in cosplay and learning to sew. I'm a sucker for teaching folk to sew, so more than happy to like pander to and encourage that. So his latest one that he wants to do for this year, I think it looks like it's going to be one per annum. For this year, he really wants to do Suguru Geto from Jujutsu Kaisen. So it's not an anime I've watched yet. It is on the to-do list. Although 2 seasons in a movie, it's like I will find the strength to start that. I don't have a lot of time for watching TV. My day job involves a lot of time staring at screens, so I'm not very inclined to watch TV in the evening. But that's a whole different story. So Suguru Geto is the plan. It looks something like this, and we've identified that he'll need 2 kimonos, a white one, a blue one, and then some traditional Japanese trousers. I think they're called himate trousers, and also that weird apron sash thing, which I actually think is going to be the make or break part of this costume. You know, that's what's going to actually make it look like this character. So that's the plan. With my nephew technically being a minor, even though he is at this moment in time 5 weeks from being 16, I'm doing my best to keep his face out of it. He's happy to be in the videos, but obviously technically too young to consent. So at the end, when we do our sort of wrap up and things, he probably will be wearing like a mask just so that we can see his whole outfit, but at the same time we can sort of have that privacy issue sort of sorted with. So yeah, let's get on to the sewing. I'm going to be honest in that this video is a little bit ropey. Between trying to teach my nephew how to make this outfit and then filming and not showing his face, I didn't manage to catch all of the steps for all the different parts of this outfit. So I'll share what I can and fill in the gaps. The first thing we had to do was figure out the length of the kimono on him. My nephew is 6 foot tall despite only being 15. And yet none of the patterns would just come ready to fit. So you're seeing me sort of draping it over his shoulder to then work out that additional length I would need to add to the pattern. Wee Ben is my sister's dog, so after shooing him out of the way and wiping off his muddy paw prints, we got to work with that white kimono. My nephew wanted to make one of the kimonos completely himself and decided that he would rather do the white one because if there was any mistakes or anything, it would be hidden by the blue. You can see us folding over that white bedsheet and then just trimming out the pattern. Owing to the length of the kimono, we did put in a shoulder seam and did it in 2 parts. As my nephew wanted to do as much of this as possible, you can see him taking over some of the tasks like the tracing and the cutting, and any pausing is really me trying to explain what we're doing on each step. It's easier to see here on the blue how the kimono was constructed. The front and back is all one part. Left and right are 2 separate pieces, and there is no shoulder seam. As you can imagine, with my nephew being 6 foot, this piece was ginormous and actually quite difficult to work with. To finish off, I'm cutting out the sort of collar piece as well as the belt and the obi. I've laid out the blue pieces here to sort of show that construction. You can see the front and the back on the 2 sides with the sleeves and then that collar piece. And then obviously the sleeping dog. I've done the sewing off camera, but you can see here that the sleeve isn't fully attached. The bottom piece and then that sort of bit that would go beneath the armpit, I suppose, aren't attached and then get sewn separately with their own seam. The collar and all of the hemwork was done off camera, as was sewing together that obiang belt. This was when I realised it was starting to all come together. Putting that blue kimono on over the white one just suddenly brought it to life and made me feel like we're getting one step closer to that character. If you thought we were done with giant pieces of fabric, you were wrong. Now we were on to the hamati trousers, which are a traditional Japanese menswear type of trouser, and I did not appreciate how many pieces there were to this, or how large some of these pieces would be. I did have to adjust the pattern for my nephew's height, as this is based for someone who's 1.7 metres, which is about 5'7". You can see me here marking on all of the pleat lines and the lines for the facing, and that's what's going to help give the final garment some shape. After that, it was getting all of the sewing done. The pattern didn't come with written instructions, but instead a video, which was in Spanish with subtitles, and whilst it was a good video, I did struggle a bit to follow it, so yeah, these took probably a bit longer than they should have to assemble. What you don't see here is me fighting with those pleats. I was really unsure about how they were to be assembled, which again goes back to the instruction types. But after that we got there. All of the seams internally are done with French seams, just to give it a bit more stability and structure. And then the front and back were fastened with these great big long ties that you can sort of see me using here. I actually really do like how the trousers turned out, and now I've done it once, would have a lot more confidence in redoing these. My nephew was genuinely mystified at how these went on. First of all, you tie up the back across the body, and then you sort of lift up the front, bring those ties around and back to the front, and then tie it. And the final garment does actually look really quite good, so everybody was very pleased with these. I might do another in-depth video on these another time, because I can see these being used in other costumes, but for now we're just going to move on to the tabard. My nephew had never done any patchwork before, so he was slightly perplexed at the process. Firstly, we cut out all of the rectangles in the green, and then using a reference picture we organised the layout for those green sections, as there are some longer pieces and then sort of shorter squares. Next we cut out the gold strips, and I wanted a gold rather than just a yellow to add more contrast to the piece here. And after that I introduced my nephew to chain stitching. We continued the chain stitching process to get all of those top and bottoms done, and then onto the sides to create the actual lattice. This was the point we could really see it coming together. Then we attached the border around the edges, and as we bag lined it onto the blue, we added in those straps, which caused us no end of confusion for the layout. My nephew was so pleased with how this came out, and I'm really excited to see him take it to a con. I'm not sure what our next outfit with him is going to be, but I'll keep you in the loop. Until next time.